Today, I am sharing 5 tips to getting your client meetings to run on time. So, start on time and almost as importantly, finish on time as well. So, as you know, I love to look at things through 2 different lenses, through the lens of client experience, but also through the lens of practice efficiency. So, how do we as a business operate more efficiently, but also then how do we not neglect or make sure that our processes support the client experience? So, having our meetings start on time is important, really, from both sides of the equation, right? Meetings have to start on time. It's just professional. It is totally unacceptable, in my opinion, for a meeting to start 5 minutes late, 2 minutes late, 10 minutes late, right? We want to show up in the most professional way possible, and we want to show our clients that we value their time. And in turn, we want them to value us. Just like in order to gain respect, we have to give it. Same thing when we want people to respect our time, we need to be starting on time. Then on the back end of the client meeting, we don't want that meeting to bleed over into another client's meeting, into our follow up time, into our processing time, or potentially worse, into our family time. Right? Often, this extra meeting time, like when we go over by 5, 10, 15 minutes, there's the law of diminishing returns. It doesn't mean that being 5, 10 minutes over necessarily equates to being 5 to 10 minutes more profitable or productive. When meetings run long, even if there's not another client waiting, you feel behind, right? You can feel it. Your team feels behind. Maybe your next client feels it if there is someone waiting. And it slowly just erodes. It's one of those small things that erodes the experience that you're trying to deliver and build. So if your 60-minute meetings routinely turn into 75, I was super guilty of this. So these are things that I did in my own business to help me actually stay on track, right? It's not just about time, it's about energy. It is about that client experience, and it's about the kind of that chaotic ripple effect that happens on your day. I know in my own practice, I was originally leaving 30-minute blocks between client meetings, and that was supposed to be my quote unquote follow up time. And what I found is when I knew I had a little buffer, I would go way over because this might surprise you. I'm a talker. And I would go a little bit over in those client meetings. And then um, that follow up time quickly got eaten up, and then I didn't get my follow up done. And I ended up kind of just messing around and wasting the 5, 10 minutes that I did have between client meetings before the next one started. So every meeting needs to start on time, but it also needs to finish on time. So here are 5 ways that I kept my meetings on track. Number one, have an agenda. I know that sounds so simple. Number one, it looks super professional, right? My clients loved showing up for meetings, knowing that I wasn't just winging it and I had thought intentionally about our session. But this agenda did a couple of different things. It wasn't just about looking professional, it was capturing their agenda items. 2 weeks prior to my client meeting, we would reach out to the clients and ask them to send us anything that they wanted included on the agenda, what was top of mind for them, so that we could make sure we left and allocated plenty of time to address their needs right at the top of the meeting and make sure we got that stuff done first and then backfilled it with our agenda items. Because, there's nothing worse than sitting in a client meeting and with 10 minutes left, all of a sudden they say something like, you know what, we've been thinking a lot about it. Maybe we should explore getting long-term care insurance. And then all of a sudden you're having to book an additional appointment or go way over in order to address their concerns. It also provided for us kind of a visual checklist of what needed to be done. So for in-person meetings, we would literally print copies for our clients and for us and go through and cross things off as we completed them, making sure it was like a visual checklist of all of the things that we had to get done. So we knew if there was still a lot of items that we had to keep moving, and it helped keep some of the ancillary. Now, chit chat's important. You want to connect with your clients, but it helped keep some of like the ancillary chit chat to a minimum when we knew we had a lot to accomplish. Now, if you're hosting the meetings virtually, there's actually a way for you to put them up on the screen. You could have the checklist over in the corner or your agenda over in the corner so your clients could visually see what you're going through. And then bonus points if you actually have little check mark boxes and you could click it and check them off as you go through your virtual meeting. So, step number one is to have an agenda to visually keep you on track. Number two, We want to set the expectation at the top of the meeting. So, whether that's also in any emails confirming their meeting time, just let them know how many minutes the meeting is. We're confirming your 60-minute meeting with Libby on this date. We're concerned, confirming your 30-minute Zoom, or maybe it's an automated email. Hey, we're excited to have you in the office. We've got you scheduled for 60 minutes on this date at this time. At the top of the meeting, so on our actual agenda, we had the number of minutes that were allocated for that meeting. And I would say something like, we've got 60 minutes and we've got a lot to get through. So let's dive right in. And if we started to run long, I would make sure, I would say to them, hey, we're starting to run a little long. I want to prioritize a few things to make sure we get those wrapped up before the end of our meeting. Or we've got about 20 minutes left. Let's make sure we shift to tax planning to make sure we get all of those things checked off the list. So just having a expectation at the very beginning of the meeting of how long it's going to take, and then throughout the meeting, using those time markers to kind of just say, hey, we've got 20 minutes left. We've got 40 minutes, or, oh gosh, we're 15 minutes in. We need to get down to business, something like that. Number 3, have a visible clock. So in our physical office, we had 2 clocks. We had one behind me that was a big, pretty clock. And then seated right behind our clients, or right behind where our clients were seated, I had a digital clock that I could see. And it had big, giant numbers on it. And it was a way for me to visually be able to notice what time it was without looking down at my watch or squinting at my computer screen and obviously checking the time, right? I didn't want to be rude, but I also wanted to make sure I was staying on track. Number 4, end with a structured close. So we would like to wrap our meetings with something like, we've got 5 minutes left. Let's jump to next steps or action items before we finish. This signals it's time to wrap up, it's time to close, and I wanted to address a couple of things before they left the office. So just giving some sort of structured close to your meeting starts to move everybody in that wrap up direction. Okay, number 5. I loved this one for in-person meetings. We especially with those chatty clients, we would have a team member pop in 10 minutes prior to the end of the meeting. And she would just stick her head in and say something like, hey, I just wanted to check in. You guys have about 10 minutes left. I just wanted to make sure if there's anything that you needed from me that I asked you now. And that was a great way for, from a customer experience perspective, for her to pop in and be like, oh, actually, we do. We need you to update a beneficiary. Can you change the date of their distribution? Can you put this new banking account on file? Not only did it actually get stuff done while productively in the meeting, and I didn't have to create a task or to do afterwards, it also again was this visual and audio reminder to our clients that, hey, there are 10 minutes left. And I would always say, I'd give any instructions that needed to be given, then I'd say, oof, okay, we still got a lot to cover. Let's get cracking, or something like that. So those were 5 things that we did. Kind of a bonus tip is, if you have clients that traditionally go way over, we personally would book those clients with another meeting afterwards. Number 1, it kind of forced me to do it. But number 2, my office was situated in a way. It was situated where I had 2 glass French conference doors that would close. So my clients could visually see another client sitting in my waiting room. We actually had 2 conference rooms, and normally we would seat the other couple in the second conference room. But when we had a really chatty client, we'd actually put them in the lobby. So my clients could feel, you couldn't hear it, but you could feel that presence of the next ones waiting, and it was time to wrap up. I also could say, oh, I see my next victims out there, and I want to make sure that I'm running on time for them. So for me, that was kind of a nice way to make sure that those chatty clients weren't at the end of the day, they weren't before a lunch break, that they had a hard stop, so that I made sure I was hard stopping, because I had a tendency to go over too, and that they had some sort of visual reminder. And so when Amy, Lisa, or Lori would pop their head in and give us our 10-minute check-in, they'd say something to the effect of oh, and your next ones are here. So I just wanted you to know, something like that. So don't overthink it. But in a meeting, you are not just the financial advisor, right? You are the facilitator. You are the guide. You are the timekeeper. You're the one keeping it on track. So for me, the agenda kind of gave us guideposts of where we needed to be at certain points during the meeting. And I took that really seriously. Like my job was to make sure we got through all of the stuff that we were doing and executing for them, everything that we said that we would be doing. And plus, for me, if we found that we went way over and we had to book a second appointment, or let's say they did ask that existential question that they had 5 minutes before the meeting was supposed to wrap, and we, either went way over addressing that concern or, had to schedule another meeting, that's not terribly efficient. So again, finding out their big questions prior to the meeting and making sure those are top of the agenda so that you can get through that fully. The other kind of byproduct of this for us is that we didn't have to like carry to-dos over until next meetings or as tasks in between meetings. And managing your time well and kind of giving clients the boot at the end of the meeting, it's not rude, right? If we do it well, it's actually respectful. It's respectful to the client. It's respectful to the next client. And sometimes they are the next client. So it's respectful to them. And most importantly, it's respectful to your team and to yourself, right? Keeping your meetings running on time is a way to elevate your experience. Clients, you don't want to be that person that's known for being 10, 15 minutes behind all the time. And it allows you to be so much more productive. When you don't have adequate follow-up time or you don't have adequate time to debrief your team and assign tasks, and you wait till the end of the day, it can become a little chaotic for both you and your team. And if you're time blocking well and you have tasks scheduled for in between meetings, it just prevents you from getting that stuff done. So hopefully these 5 tips, maybe one or two of them will work for you. Go ahead and give them a try in your next client meeting, and hopefully you can help keep your clients' meetings on time.